This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Tip off the Wolves home opener this Sunday with Sauce. You can join Meat Sauce at Kieran's Irish Pub 3 to 5 for a Sunday bucket slam. Enjoy specials on Kona and Michelob Ultra buckets and register for your chance to win signed Timberwolves prizes. Full details available KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
All right, Andy Luger is indeed back with us. Starting point today was an op-ed column that appeared in the Star Tribune. I don't know what day it dropped. It doesn't even matter anymore in an online world, I guess, Andy. That's the world we live in. But it was, I saw it over the weekend, and we're starting there about what I guess, what's the term again? NVEs. Again, this is a broad term that doesn't always fit perfectly. Yeah. Nihilistic, violent extremists that might not be all that interested in ideology at all. You know, you raised the question about that we need to be interested in this group. And I wonder if we're going to be, because we're in a world right now where we seemingly are only interested if we can identify the bad guys as lefty guy or righty guy. So do we have the bandwidth to mix this in if at the end of this discussion we don't have the identified, these are the bad guys in this case, or this is these are the bad representing the side of the political aisle we're not interested in. Sharks and Jets is what I call them.
Yeah, we have to. So I don't think we have a choice because they're out there. And as, you know, unfortunately, as these incidents occur and as we have shootings, you can read the manifestos, and the manifestos don't lead you normally to right or left. They just lead you to violence. And we have to acknowledge that there are people out there who want to kill just to kill. And we have to do something about that. And I said in the piece, sometimes even on these sites, they make fun of us for pointing fingers. It's like, you know, those folks don't get it. The left and the right pointing fingers don't get it. We're just out here killing people and promoting.
They're amused by it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I haven't been, I'm going to go on these sites soon because I need a dedicated computer that's not connected to any kind of server. And I'm going to do that. But the people who are on the sites tell me, like, literally, they're scoffing at us.
And another one of these is 764, is that correct?
764 was sort of the first. And the 764 was the first three digits of the zip code of the person who founded it in Texas. And they're really dedicated to posting videos of mass shootings and murders and self-harm and promoting doing that and sort of teaching people how to get a vulnerable young boy or girl to kill themselves online, you know, being filmed, and then they post that, and that becomes the next sort of trophy. So, you know, it's you cannot overstate how horrific this is, but more importantly, just knowing about it and being able to have some sort of a civic conversation about it is something I think we need to do. We need a combination of public policy, public health, others to get involved in a discussion of how to solve it.
Is this different than the subject the last time we talked, I think, may have been by phone on that occasion, I don't remember, the sextortion cases?
Yeah, it is and it isn't. So 764 is a network of, in part, sextortionists. So what we talked about the last time, the ESPN article, was a case. And what I prosecuted, or what we prosecuted when I was U.S. attorney, were sextortion cases, individual cases. Now those folks can get together online, or are getting together online, in their own subculture and promoting each other and egging each other on. And that takes it from sort of 5 to 10 on a scale of dangerousness.
Where does law enforcement fit in here? I mean, I assume these sites can't be eliminated.
Right.
As much as I'm assuming a lot of people would vote for them to be, we've got laws in place. We allegedly appreciate our freedom. At least we appreciate it when we're the ones free. So where does law enforcement fit in? What are some of the options that law enforcement can at least consider?
So the FBI now tells us that they have investigations in every state of the nation into 764 activities. So if somebody's on the 764 site trying to convince a 12-year-old to kill themselves, that's a crime. And FBI is now following that. You can only imagine how many people it takes to do it.
Yeah.
And do we have the resources? But the FBI has adopted the NVE, name, and they're tracking NVE cases. And they're actually, when charges are filed by U.S. attorneys' offices, they're starting to identify the defendant as a member of the NVE subculture.
In terms of,
and Dan, none of this existed when I was U.S. attorney. I mean, it did, but at a very low.
Not that long ago.
No,
that's the thing.
It just burst onto the scene.
So, since the story hit the online, and what kind of reaction have you received?
Just kind of overwhelming with two things. One, people just saying, I didn't know anything about this, which of course you didn't. None of us did. And then some people who have either been victims of or know victims of mass violence who have said, I want to learn more. And can we start a dialogue?
Let me get to a couple of texts that have come in here. This question is going to come across more crass than it's intended. How does Mr. Luger study this subject and keep his sanity or his hope in the future of humanity?
So if you're a prosecutor, federal or state prosecutor, as long as I have been, you've seen everything under the sun. I mean, I had a mob informant in 1989 who showed up in the trunk of a car in front of the courthouse, dead. So I'm a somewhat insensitive, but I'm also sensitive. Mm-hmm. I've talked about the Wetterling case and how hard emotionally it was for me to be, part of that case and solving that case and bringing to light what happened. So you're both emotionally involved because you care, but you go into solutions mode. Let's solve this. So that's where I am right now. I'm interested in working with these analysts and experts around the country who I've known for years who are tracking this and bringing people together to come up with some practical ways that we can talk about it.
This is from 763 guy. To the extent that there are independent NVEs, is it an online bot thing, foreign actors using AI, or other manipulative avenues to also sow discord? Was the smartphone and social media the death knell of civilization?
Well, there's a happy guy. Dan, I don't think so. I'm not going to say categorically not. I'll ask that question to I'll phrase it somewhat differently, but I'll ask that question to the people that I'm talking to. I think these are real people who are not bots and real people who want to create mayhem, who in their mind have become addicted to the idea of violence.
It's another texter. This is from 510. I don't know where 510 is, Guards. Do you recognize 510? He asks, regarding the Sharks versus the Jets, when it comes to blaming the other side for the latest atrocity, it's not that they don't get it. The left and right use it to blame each other, whether it's true or not. We could probably spend a half hour on that, and we have, in some ways, talked about that before. I think there's some truth to that, and that's why I do wonder sometimes whether it's going to be a challenge for you to get traction on this, because there isn't, at least explicitly, a political component to this thing. It is that some people just want to see the world burn.
Yeah. The fact that it's going to be tough to get traction doesn't mean you don't try. So that's where I'm at. I can't guarantee results, and I'm right in the middle between the left and the right on these things, and I just want to see real-life solutions and progress. And so that's what I'm working on.
Let me ask you about a quote from the man who succeeded you, the now former acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson. This was a Star-Tribune piece in which I think they were kind of trying to lay out who is he, get to know him, mm-hmm. and then secondly, given all these fraud cases, what does he make of the unfortunate run the state of Minnesota seems to be in? And I want to get your reaction to a specific observation he made. He said, as a prosecutor, I'm expected to say the defendants are responsible for their crimes, and they are. But if we pretend that's the whole story, we are lying to ourselves. This fraud crisis did not come out of nowhere. It's the result of widespread failure across nearly every level of leadership in Minnesota. Politicians who turned a blind eye, agencies that failed to act, prosecutors and law enforcement who didn't push hard enough, reporters who ignored the story, community leaders who stayed silent, and a public that wanted to believe it couldn't happen here in Minnesota. What do you make of that?
Good for Joe. I've known Joe a long time. I actually hired him. He's a fantastic prosecutor and a great lawyer and a good friend of mine. I would put it differently, and I have. Look, I think we've got a segment of the Somali community that has decided to take advantage wherever they can of loosely guarded government programs. And that all kind of exploded with Feeding Our Future. I credit Joe with being tenacious in going after that. That got started before I became U.S. Attorney. I started day one. We looked at each other and said, this is what we're going to do. And we built a team and we took it on. And then obviously other things like the autism and the housing rehabilitation. There's a lot out there. Do I blame reporters and politicians? Joe's got his own insights and his own thoughts, and I value them, and we trade our ideas. We have been doing that for years. But the way I look at it is we've had lax oversight of programs. I'm fairly convinced that that's coming to an end, that people are taking it seriously, both in the legislature and at the governor's office. And while we're going to see a lot more cases going forward, because there's just so much to prosecute, I'd like to believe that the pipeline has shut or is shutting.
What does the lack of foresight and vigilance tell you? What's that about? Is that leadership? Can that fairly be placed at the foot of the governor's office, the governor of the state? I think it makes him vulnerable, but I don't know if the Republicans will be able to do anything about it. But how do we go about figuring all that out? Because a couple of things he said, and again, you may not agree with him because I'm not sure you agree with him on everything, is that he's saying there are a couple of these programs that literally were begging to be abused, which tells me again that we with all these good intentions that we have in this state, that we didn't come close for a long period of time to threading this needle and to paying a close enough attention to see that the money we wanted to get to all these good needed places would had any chance to actually get there.
We skipped a step. We skipped the oversight step. We skipped the intense auditing step. And we did that. You know, you just said it, good intentions, and we wanted to do the right thing. Joe said in that long quote, it can't happen here kind of thing. Think about it. We've always been a very clean government state. We have clean government on both sides.
Right.
So whether you're a Tim Pawlenty governor or a Tim Walz governor, we've had clean government. You don't see a lot of people in government getting prosecuted for corruption. This erupted, and now it's being dealt with, and I think it's being taken quite seriously by everybody. I also, I do think that there has been a concerted effort by government officials from all stripes to support and help build up the Somali community that's here. And I think some of that led some people in the Somali community to see an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. In terms of, so when you say you are observing greater vigilance and now an understanding that we need much greater safeguards in place to be sure this money's going to the right place. How does that? I mean, what is involved in that process beyond the declarations? Because that always sounds good, but what's the system that has to be in place?
Sure. So compare what happened in Feeding Our Future, what's happening with the housing stabilization services. Feeding Our Future, when people saw pretty early on, the vestiges of fraud, they tried to shut it down, and they got sued by people representing Feeding Our Future. And there was a whole, side argument that you're only looking at us because you're racist.
Right.
So everybody gets accused of being racist. And one of the things that I said in one of our press conferences was, we got to get over that. The whole, you're a racist if you look at me, stop that. And stop paying attention to that. assuming you're not a racist, that you're actually doing your job. And that's what happened here. I think we've gotten past that because in the housing stabilization thing, they just shut it down. And I think that kind of, jumped the shark of the argument of racism after Feeding Our Future.
Is this strictly speaking, going back to your op-ed piece and the whole issue of, what do we call them, as you say, NVEs, nihilistic violent extremists, is this strictly an American problem or a global problem? Mike from Edina asks.
It's global. Good question, Mike. It's global, and it's very focused here, but there are people who venerate the Christchurch murderer. This is not just an American problem, but we're seeing a lot of it here.
Would Mr. Luger write a book? Have you ever written a book?
I started to. I've thought about it. I started to. I don't, this is, who's going to read this?
Well, you have more time on your hands now. You're not running for office anymore, right? You've made that semi-official?
I'm not running for office.
You can't be talked out of that, you don't think?
No.
You're past that. That ship has sailed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The ship has sailed,
Why?
and I didn't get on it.
Why?
Because not what two reasons. One, it's not what I want to do with my life right now. I want to plug in where I can be useful and not be, Saturday afternoon in Ely in a parade. I did that 20 years ago. It was great. 30 parades. So I have that.
You have to smile a lot too, don't you? That's part of it. You have to.
And you got to be you told me early on, I got to be a happy guy.
You got to be a happy guy.
So that's number one. But more importantly, I'm 66, and I really believe in grooming a new generation of leaders. So I'm working with candidates who are younger than me and represent, new generations. And I really believe, people say that all the time. We gotta get new blood. I actually believe that.
What percentage of people on these sites are truly psychopaths without regard for suffering? I'm afraid to know the number.
Yeah, I think a lot. I mean, I hope to learn more about that, but I think there may be people who are on the sites who are just watching and interested, but never will do anything. But that's bad enough, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it should be. But you can't, we don't have time to investigate those individuals, right? We have no time because we have to try to find a way to distinguish them from the folks who might be capable of taking that next step. But even being capable is not committing a crime, right?
So,
That's what makes this so problematic, no?
So one woman posted on Watch People Die, a woman, I don't know, every single known video of a murder she put into one post. She had 300,000 people go to that. So that says to you this is something real, because we can't even imagine wanting to do that, and yet 300,000 people instantly went to watch her videos where she said, I've got every single murder that's known online.
In our final minutes here, do we have a minute or two maybe to get your legal expertise on a couple of stories? One in particular, do you believe we've got these, we're going after, allegedly, the administration is going after drug runners, I guess you could say, in South America, and we're saying we know what we're doing. We're taking them out. This is a scourge. This is a danger to the United States of America, and we're I guess blowing them out of the water and then asking questions later. So I don't get any sense the administration has any hesitation. Is there a chance that somewhere down the road this is going to become a much bigger legal issue? What do you make of this whole thing? And are you comfortable with any of it?
No. I was raised to believe you build your cases and then you prosecute people through the system. Are there occasions, with ISIS or whatever, that you kind of go in with some military force? So this is way beyond anything that I was taught to do. So I believe in our system of justice. I believe in following through, investigations, prosecutions, courts, juries. That's the justice that I believe in.
And that's very different than what we're seeing here, which is fire first, and as far as we know to this point, correct?
Yeah, as far as I can tell. I'm not on the inside. I haven't talked to the people. Maybe they're doing great things, but it's not what I'm used to.
So for people who have maybe read your op-ed piece, and for people who are maybe even stunned by what they didn't know, because I certainly did not know all of this at all. And that was your point. You're trying to sort of set the tone early and then go from here in terms of what might be done, because that's the hard part, obviously. Where else can people go? What should they be paying attention to? What should they be concerned with?
Well, I think if they want to learn more, they can go to some of the sources without going to the sites, because nobody should do that. But they can go to some of the sources that are writing about this and explaining it. And all you got to do is Google NVE, violence, violent extremism, nihilism, and you'll get the sources. And those are the people I'm actually talking to, the people who write those exposés and research reports. They're at academic institutions. They're at independent NGOs. That's who tracks this. And it's basically the same people who tracked ISIS terrorism and, sort of the rise of white supremacy.
So these sites, like on most, if you have your internet through cable or what Comcast, whatever the case may be, these sites are not available in those places, or they are?
Yeah,
they are available. There's no blocking. There's no legal standard by which we could convincingly, stand the test in a court case of blocking these sites. Is that correct?
Not based on what I know now. Mm-hmm. Part of what we're going to do when we bring people together is bring together experts on social media and the law and talk about what can be done. But that's not a likely path for ending this. Censorship isn't going to work, basically.
It's never too late, Andy, one texter says, regarding jumping back into the deep end of the pool when it comes to politics.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of deep ends of a lot of pools right now, so thank you. And I appreciate people saying that, and I do, but it's not where I am right now.
Then I don't think, the sense I get from you, because I've brought this up a few times, I don't sense, no matter how many compliments you get via the text line, that's going to be enough. That flattery will not get anybody anywhere in this case. It's not going to turn your head at this point.
No, I'll take it.
you don't mind it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, you go through your life, you get some compliments, you get some slams. I'll take that, but that's not going to change my mind. I've had a lot of people talk to me about it. This is where I am in my life. This is what I believe I should be doing.
Does Luger sound a little like Tanner Hoops?
Who's Tanner Hoops?
Tanner Hoops, the voice of Gopher women's volleyball? No.
I don't think so.
He doesn't.
I don't believe so. I don't think there's a similarity there. I don't know.
Do we like Tanner Hoops?
We love Tanner Hoops.
Yeah, we do. There's
great guy, very distinctive voice. You don't sound like Tanner Hoops.
Yeah.
I used to look like Franco Harris.
Is that true?
Yeah. No,
you could be Franco Harris for Halloween.
That makes sense.
I had literally people stop me on the street and say, "Are you Franco?" That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
And a different head of hair.
The Immaculate, we're both old enough to remember the Immaculate Reception, right?
Yeah, so I appreciated those compliments.
Yeah, those you didn't mind. Exactly. Yeah, there's a couple more coming in. We'll leave it at that. I really appreciate the hour. Please keep us posted if there's updates and other things that we can get into as you try to, because I know that's what you try to do. You try to sort of plant the flag, and then you flesh it out. You understand that platitudes and just words aren't going to be enough. So, and again, who knows if it's winnable, but I know in the Andy Luger world, you have to try.
Yep.
Correct? You have to try to get someplace.
That's where we are.
Yeah, exactly. Good to see you. Thanks again. Andy Luger, kind enough to join us. I don't think our texters are going to talk him into running for state office, including governor, even though the current governor should be as vulnerable as any governor in a while, but that's another story for another day. We'll break here. We got a full half hour to go, Guardsy. Is that correct? We're going the distance?
Full hour, yeah.
Full hour, I should say. We got a lot more Vikings quarterback stuff to get into, and who knows what else. Stay tuned.
Speaking of Thursday, join me. I'm Guardsy. Gray's Food Hall, Minneapolis, for a special Thursday night Purple Watch Party. Minnesota takes on Los Angeles. We've got great food and drinks and your shot to win awesome prizes every single quarter. We'll start about 7. Join us, KFAN.com, keyword calendar. See you at Gray's Food Hall on Thursday night.
That sounds like a heck of a good time. This is from KFAN, Gal. Literally all of your guest contributors are such great listens, from Luger to Feinbaum. You think she means Rosenbaum? Have we ever had Paul Feinbaum on? I don't think so.
No, mostly because his show is on at the same time your show is.
To Kessler, to Posner, to Big Knocker, just great radio. KFAN gal, we appreciate the kind words. That's for sure. And Andy's a terrific guest no matter what the subject is. The only thing we have in mind that we might do next time is his own football career.
Yeah, Amherst.
Because there's a couple of interesting stories there. And I'm not sure, have we gotten any Rosenbaum and or Friedberg stories from him? I think we've gotten one or two. There might be a couple more out there as well.
The fact that I have one or two stories from those two, yes. I'm guessing Mr. Luger has
He might over the years for sure. Quick callback to the start of the show, the fact that apparently your guy, sports investigative reporter extraordinaire, Pablo Torre, found out that Glenn Taylor created what they describe as a 77-item Mean Girls-style burn book in an effort to kill the franchise sale to A-Rod and Mark Laurie. And the problem with at least a number of the items were they had nothing to do with the legalities of the actual sale transaction.
What do you mean?
And I suggested, well, we know a couple of the items in the Mean Girls style burn book, but there's a bunch that we don't know. And if you have some ideas via the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line, please pass them along to us. Here's another good one from much earlier in the program. Item number 11. A-Rod and Laurie were prepared to sign Naz Reid to an extension without looking him in the eye first. Another good reason for Glenn Taylor to say, they don't deserve to have the team.
They're not up for it.
Was that Wiggins?
That was
Andrew Wiggins deal?
Yes, that was Andrew
He's still in the league. He's still starting with the Miami Heat.
That's right. He was part of that trade. He was part of the Buckets trade, wasn't he?
I think that's right. Yeah.
From Golden State or to Golden State.
Very, very true, Davey.
That was still one of my favorite. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills periods when everybody, because as a Wolves fan, you've got to be built different, right? You've got to be built pretty tough.
Yes.
We've got thick leather skin. Why wouldn't we? For most of the 36 years, it's been pretty much a disaster. When people were mocking the Wolves for trading Andrew Wiggins to the Warriors for what he became with the Warriors, that will still always bother me. Because he was, the fifth guy on that team or the fourth guy on that team.
That's correct.
And he played great in the finals. There's no disputing
that. He did. That cannot be taken away from him. But that's
the way it was framed can you believe Minnesota gave up on this guy? It's like all they asked him to do was rebound and play hard.
There are a couple people who think that Andy Luger does sound like
Tanner
Hoopsy. Another individual, Chris, believes he sounds like Andrew Zimmern. And somebody else thinks Andy Luger sounds like Aaron Gleeman.
Gleeman, I think a little bit more than all of them.
Gleeman with the inflection, maybe, or the cadence. Maybe it's not. It's the cadence, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. But it's that in itself is very interesting. There's a lot of lasagna jokes coming in, as one might expect. We kind of may have exhausted that earlier in the
that's all right.
In the broadcast.
You got to play the hits sometimes.
Very true. Now, what will be interesting, as I said, is now whether Taylor's side leaks some stuff that might also be make the winning side look a little small. There is that possibility. Fairness and savagery. I'll listen to all of those things, but as I said much earlier, it's he did not want to sell the team, and I don't know, given the price he sold them at, and the fact that the team then was just emerging to become a force in the league, that I necessarily blame him for that. But he did it.
Yeah.
And so in the end, his effort to try to get out of it, I thought was shaky. I thought it was extremely thin. And put it this way, if you're going to try to convince the arbitrators, offering up as one of the 77 items, do you remember the time A-Rod looked into the camera with Katie Couric on 60 Minutes and said he never took any performance-enhancing drugs? That certainly speaks to the character of A-Rod. There's no question about that. That happened. But the arbitrators, I'm sure, were saying, not going to work. That's got nothing to do with the legal. You got to give me stuff from the deal.
That wasn't in the
ways
contract.
They abrogated the deal. Whether, A-Rod took performance-enhancing drugs and lied about it, that's not for us to we're not in the morality business. We're in the legality business, right? And so that does smack of great, unfortunately, great desperation.
Given that Pablo does have a few of the legitimate items in the burn book, he's got to have all of them, right? I think I would buy the burn book. I think if it was at Barnes & Noble.
Oh, God, I would in a minute.
I would have you pick it up.
Oh, hell yes.
On your daily
That's
trip
why
there.
I mean, maybe it can be a reality show. Here's what I want to know. Who helped G. Taylor amass the 77 items?
He said a couple of Wolves executives.
Is that what he said?
That's what Pablo said, yeah. 2 Wolves executives.
Well, does that explain why we have new leadership at the top of the food chain?
Might be part of it.
I mean, that probably didn't help.
Yeah, it might be part of it, I would assume.
Wow. I think, if you're going to do that.
Wow. Whoa.
You kind of, you have to do that yourself, or you have to realize that you might be throwing some other people under the bus if you lose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like, does that mean those individuals took sides? And maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Maybe A-Rod and Lori had their plans.
I think everybody had to take sides. That was the problem.
Yeah, that's probably
true. I think at some point you had to take a side on that thing.
Yeah.
It had to be really uncomfortable. And we also know A-Rod and Lori have already made a bunch of changes to the business side of things as well, right? A lot of people got let go a couple of months ago. We talked about that. I think you almost had to pick sides. It would be a terrible thing to have to do.
No, and that's why it couldn't have been fun during that whole period.
No, I have a lot of empathy for the people that had to actually work there.
John, the mail carrier, now back to the nonsense of whether or not street clothes will ever play. Does he mean J.J. McCarthy? That street clothes?
Man.
Is that what he's talking about?
It has to be, right?
Well, how long will McCarthy milk it?
The
we
truth
now
cannot
know
be controversial.
that he ain't going to play Thursday. In fact, I didn't mention this earlier. This may be stating the obvious. He will be the emergency quarterback again. So your guy, the dream is still alive.
I know. He's one play away.
Your guy plays if something, so Harbaugh, he loved cheap shots. He might like to see somebody cheap shot. You might have a defense, maybe a bounty situation. Who knows?
He's a man of integrity and honor, I thought, Jim Harbaugh.
I forgot. You're right.
He's a Michigan man.
My bad.
He's a Michigan man,
I don't know what I mean by that.
Michigan men never lie, never cheat, never steal.
But the point is then whether the head coach wants to play Brosmer or not, he'd have to play him, right? That's the delicious part. I'm not wishing injury on Carson Wentz or further injury in any way, shape, or form. This is a tricky game. Here's the tough position I think the Vikings are now in, too, on this one. I'm assuming we're underdogs. The game is in L.A. I haven't even looked. I'll look it up, what the current spread is on Vikings-Chargers. But because the Chargers have been limping, they've lost 3 of their last 4, and their only victory was against the Miami Dolphins by 2.
Yeah.
So,
and every time I see the Dolphins on ESPN, it's their head coach at a podium looking completely disheveled.
Yeah, he does. He does not look good right now.
No.
He does not look good. I think somebody's got to put him out of his misery.
Chargers are 3-point favorites.
3-point favorites.
So not much.
So that's not much, really. But it's going to be viewed because of the way that they've played. If you don't knock them off. And by the way, I'm hoping we don't get a week on the fan of, well, it won't be a week, just 2 days of Chargers are terrible. Because we heard that all week, Eagles week. Most beatable team in football. What's the big deal? This is a game we can easily win. Well, we didn't win it. So maybe we need to have a greater track record of accomplishment ourselves this season before we go down the road of, it should be easy to take care of them because we were told all week it was going to be easy to take care of the Eagles. And I fell for it. I picked the Vikings to win. I think I was 0-3 again.
Oh, were you?
I'm pretty sure I was 0-3 again because I could have sworn you had Lions, Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay. And that's how I read it. And that's why I took Tampa to cover. I don't know that I would have if I'd known it was in Detroit. I want to blame you for that, even if you don't deserve it.
I'll take the fall.
No, but you might not be accurate. I don't even remember. Because the Lions did break. They covered, did they not? Wasn't it 21-9?
Yeah,
something like that.
It wasn't close.
Yeah. I'll look because you sent it to me.
Oh, that's right.
So I can look. The evidence is somewhere. Did you email it or did you text it?
I emailed it. There's a digital trail.
Let me see if I can find the Guardsy email on that. I'll tell you what. Let's break.
I'll pull it up too.
We'll stay on schedule because we went long, understandably, with Andy Luger. We'll get back to some more Viking stuff. I do want to get into the NBA.
You're going to be mad at yourself.
Am I really?
Yeah.
So now I feel even dumber. NBA opens tonight, right? Is it 2 games?
Yeah, doubleheader NBC.
Doubleheader NBC.
John Tesh is on the Today Show. Have you seen the 2.5-minute trailer?
Is it
promo?
emotional? Is it good? Is it well done?
I'll send it to you. You can decide. I think we could probably play it, but
really?
yeah,
It's pretty good.
I had goosebumps for sure.
Well, is MJ going to be? Somebody said he's going to be a part of it tonight too. Is that true?
He's basically like a special assistant.
I have an MJ theory I want to run by you as well, because I know Fallness is waiting for this particular angle to be covered. Back in just a minute.
Fan of 2 men and a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. Final keyword of the evening. A little late, but we got it to you. Deposit. Go to KFAN.com and make the keyword deposit.
I wonder if Cousins will be traded before. When's the deadline? 2 weeks?
I think so. I'll look.
Wonder if he will be dealt. Trying to figure out who would be likely to. I assume it's complicated with his contract, etc. Some teams.
He's got a huge contract.
And then you're back to, what is he at this point? Oh, we don't know. We haven't seen him play this year, have we?
No.
I mean, he's allegedly healthier again because he's got more time since the last injury. But,
Penix day-to-day, though.
yeah.
Might be a showcase for him this weekend.
That's
it is
true.
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
3 o'clock Central Time.
You sent to me I think it's a good 2.5 minute, like the reintroduction of the NBC brand to the National Basketball Association video, right? So it's going to lose a little via audio because some of it is just facial expressions, the silences, the reactions, but I think it'll still play pretty well. I know I had goosebumps. I think you did too.
As a child of the 90s, absolutely.
But let's listen. This is just this is the official, I think. The Peacock brand is back for National Basketball Association action.
All right, run. When I say the NBA on NBC, what memories come to mind?
I have none, zero. 1990s?
SGA.
Oh, I need a memory from there. I have no idea. I wasn't old enough.
Brunson.
I wasn't alive.
Chet. Wembanyama.
Yeah, you're joking, right? No.
Anthony.
Michael Jordan.
Boom, boom.
He nailed it.
Enough said.
He nailed it.
Here's MJ.
You really want to know that, right?
Oh. Come on, Mike.
The era that I played, you got a picture painted of authenticity. Just genuine love for the game.
Yeah.
Super nostalgia. It was just super dope and
LeBron.
inspiring for me.
Fondest memory of the 90s was
Steph.
all the rivalries. The heyday of the NBA.
I want to see MJ
KD.
play. Magic Johnson, Reggie, Patrick Ewing. You could feel the contention. You can feel the competitiveness on the basketball court.
People always ask me, which era do I prefer?
That's for you to decide.
Jay, Jokic, Giannis, basketball truly is a global sport.
Reggie.
The game we all love. Oh yeah, it's back.
Magic.
Cue up the music.
There it is.
This is the NBA on NBC.
You know the story about the voiceover?
Tash, you mean?
No, the guy that just said this is the NBA
No.
on NBC.
No.
That's I'll have to look up his name. That's the original guy but he's since passed away since the NBA left NBC. So they asked his family if they could basically do AI generation of his voice to do the teams, because there's probably some teams that weren't even around. Right. So to do the team's intro, Houston Rockets versus Golden State Warriors, and the family
that's
said,
what they did. Wow.
Yeah, which is, I think, pretty cool.
It's interesting. I've not heard that.
Kids don't even know about Sunday afternoon NBA and NBC.
No, they don't. In part because then again, like you say, there weren't as many games on, so it was more special.
It was everything.
It's like once upon a time, there was a Major League Baseball game of the week on a Saturday, and that was it.
Yep.
Unless you were lucky enough to have a superstation in your town, and so it was very different, and so it felt bigger. The Jordan question, I love the Jordan drops in there of him, almost a la the Netflix, the ESPN
The Last
series,
Dance.
The Last Dance.
Yep.
Here's my concern. This is where it's a really tricky thing. I'm intrigued by what Jordan's contributions are going to be, but I'm almost hesitant because part of, to me, what the Jordan brand has become is a little Greta Garbo-like. It's a little bit of mystery. It's, because there have been a million issues in the last 5 years in the NBA. We go, I wonder what Michael thinks, right? And we don't know because he rarely makes it a point to say anything other than for that documentary. So I hope they're we've had a lot of talk in this show about balancing acts. I hope they master the balancing act of enough Michael to tease us and make it interesting because he is so authentic in what he represents in that throwback to the game without overexposing him. I don't want to know what Michael thinks about everything.
Sure.
I really don't, because then I think it's like, oh, no big deal. It's just another guy, just another talking head talking. Now, again, for a while, maybe it wouldn't matter because we haven't heard from him and be like, yeah, more Michael. Give me more Michael. I think you leave him. What's that old, show business saying? Leave them wanting more. So I think less is more in the case of Michael Jordan. Little tastes here and there.
Yeah.
But don't overexpose him because there's a mystery to the name. There's a solemnity to what he represents, to the era that he harkens back to, where it's almost like I don't want him to have to come down off his high horse,
right,
and mess with the rest of us peasants. You know what I'm saying? Or even in terms of the game, I don't want too much.
Yeah, I'm curious how they are going to use him, and it does sound like it's going to be pretty specialized. He's not going to be one of the main analysts. So I don't know if he's just going to do random sit-downs, if he's going to do...
Right, that's the question.
Random deals.
That's being very... somebody interviewed for a podcast, I don't remember who it was, Chris Collinsworth, interestingly enough. And Collinsworth said, basically, I'm not supposed... None of us, we're all sworn... we all took a blood oath to not say anything about what Michael's contributions are going to be. But he said, I'm going to say something anyway. It's going to be like nothing you could possibly imagine. Now, that does raise the bar. What do you mean by that?
Wow.
But Collinsworth did not underplay it at all. He made it sound like they got some stuff up their sleeve with him that's going to be that's going to get a lot of attention and that people are definitely going to enjoy. So I don't know what that means.
Well, that worries me.
I hope he's right.
Well, no, because I think you have to account for Collinsworth inflation. He's the guy that told us Sean Mannion was ready for his moment on Sunday Night Football.
He was for 2 series.
2?
Well, maybe 1.
This guy, he's not afraid of this, Al. Unbelievable. Sean Mannion, he's ready to sling it around Lambeau Field. That's what I'm worried about, Collinsworth inflation. Because he thinks everything's great and things that we've never seen before.
Yeah, well. Might be right about that. We'll see. So I don't know.
Isn't it funny, though, how having that theme song back, though, is such a big deal to people?
What happened to the TV? Just went out?
Yeah, mine's out, too.
Didn't we pay the bill again? So is tonight NBC or is tonight ESPN? I don't even know.
NBC.
That's NBC tonight.
Yeah, and I think the pregames are going on right now.
So it's so tonight the early game is Durant. It's Houston and
Oklahoma City,
right?
Yep.
The defending world champions.
Yep.
Are they getting their rings tonight?
Is it in OKC? I don't know.
That's a good question. I
think it is in Oklahoma
City. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then the second game is in L.A. I think it's Golden State at L.A. Correct?
It is, yeah.
And LeBron is not playing for the Lakers,
correct.
Right? Sciatica?
Yeah, that's what it was, right?
Is that what we're hearing?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it. So, and then we start tomorrow night in Portland. A couple people on the text line are already calling it loser proof. That's what gets us in trouble. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, if you've not read it, Johnny Athletic has predicted officially, it's in writing, that your Minnesota Timberwolves will win the NBA title.
That is a nice package.
This year. Now, we'll talk more extensively about the Wolves tomorrow. There's a part of me that has said, well, I don't know. I mean, we couldn't make any big moves this year. We're still not convinced that Dillingham's ready to make a big jump. Got a couple other kids who might make decent jumps, but we've kind of put the band back together. But I guess it is worth remembering. The Wolves finished the regular season 20-4.
Nice run.
That's an awfully good record.
When Randall came back. They did figure some stuff out. Schedule was easier,
but they still went 20-4 and then made it, well, I wouldn't say easily, but they dominated the Lakers, right?
Correct.
Knocked off. Now they got a break in the Warriors series, obviously, and then it all fell apart. But Oklahoma City was clearly the best team in basketball, right? I don't even know. I'm actually still more bothered by the way we didn't compete with the Mavericks than the way we didn't compete with Oklahoma City, because I think Oklahoma City was the best team by far in the NBA last year. I don't think there's any question about it. But we do have to remember, they seem to figure out a lot down the stretch last season. The fashionable pick I've seen nationally, if you don't pick Oklahoma City, the fashionable pick is Denver. The Nuggets are getting some love, and I understand that because they did make some, I think, helpful changes to their team. I think this is a much better, this team is more equipped to compete for an NBA title than it was a year ago. I don't hear many people talking about the Wolves, and that may serve a purpose. It's the best place to be often nationally, is riding just flying a little bit under the radar, where people are not talking about you all that much, because it doesn't mean you can't win.
Right.
Just because they're not talking about you. It might mean that you're in a better position where, you don't at least nationally have the same expectation that might exist locally. Let's make this the top of the hour pause. We've got a half hour yet to go. We'll look at some texts and some good ones coming in, not only NBA, but related to a couple of other subjects we've explored today, including the big Vikings quarterback announcement. Stay tuned. Guy writes, I just saw snippets. Oh, I bet it's just snippets of MJ playing ping pong and air hockey with various star players, and MJ takes it way too seriously the whole time.
It's possible, although I'd find that interesting, I think.
Is Johnny Athletic saying the Wolves will win the title more or less likely than the Wild making the playoffs? Wow.
We'll ask him tomorrow at 4:30.
He'll answer, too. I don't think he'll mind answering that question, will he? I think you have any problem. He's going to be with the club, you said. He will be in Portland?
He leaves tomorrow, yeah.
I assume he'll follow them to L.A. then.
I think that's what he said, yeah.
For the second game. That's Friday night, correct?
Yes.
And then we have the home opener. I think it's a 6 o'clock start. Will that game be on the Fan? Might be. Oh, I don't know about what Wild hockey on that same Sunday.
Yeah, that game is not on the Fan.
It is not.
The first two are on the Fan. That game is not. There's a Wild game Sunday.
The third one will be on the Timberwolves channel via the iHeartRadio app.
Set it as a preset now. Timberwolves channel.
It'd be easy.
Of your iHeartRadio app. It's very easy to find it then.
I am. There's just sometimes I look up. It's ESPN's doing their Prudential playoff projection using the Associated Press poll. And again, even though this doesn't mean it's going to happen, but right now they have, with a bye, the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah, right.
as the number 2 seed. Do you realize how absurd that is?
Yes.
It's just, that's the word for it. It's absurd to even see that, even though all it is now is a projection that could change on the basis of them laying an egg at Maryland, laying an egg at Penn State. Somehow UCLA shocking the world and beating them this Saturday. Your game's 2:30, by the way?
2:30, yeah.
Has the spread changed? We talked about this yesterday. I thought the Iowa margin of, favorite, they were favored yesterday by like 8.5 points, was ridiculous. But maybe I got too excited about the way the Gophers played Nebraska. I mean, it's always about consistency. It really is. I mean, that did not look like the same team that took on Purdue.
9.5 point favorites right now.
9.5.
It just feels like way too many.
I feel it does, definitely.
I thought 7 was too many for Nebraska over the Gophers.
Yeah.
They're 7.5 point favorites over Northwestern. I think that's too many.
That's strange, too. Yeah, it's a wacky world. Maybe they're just trying to get money going. That might be the answer. So the head coach makes it official today. No surprise that J.J. McCarthy will not start, and he will, again, not even be the backup. He will be the emergency quarterback in Los Angeles when the Vikings take on the Chargers on Thursday night. All the action beginning right here in the Fan at 5. The starter will be, much to the chagrin of many people in our texting audience, will be Carson Wentz, and he'll be backed up by your guy, Max Brosmer, as well. And that's sort of where we're at here. You established earlier the Chargers are 3-point, despite the fact they've lost 3 out of 4.
Right.
They are 3-point favorites at home, so that's not a huge amount, but they are favored. So, everybody's trying to decide what to make of the KOC comment that if this were a full week, in other words, if the Vikings were playing that game on a Sunday, that it might be a different story by Friday, is basically what the coach said. So the intimation seemed to be, we haven't forgotten about JJ, and if we had a full week, I might even be making a different declaration by the end of the week. I'm trying to figure out if he means that or he feels obligated to say it. I don't know what the answer is to that question. Maybe it's his way of saying he is getting closer, or he's making a decent amount of progress. I don't know.
He might also be thinking, and you guys did you see the game? You saw Carson, right? I mean, he might be seeing it.
Yeah, right.
He might finally have convinced himself, all right, the Carson thing was cute.
We played it out.
We got to go back.
But now we got to go back, even though we've got nothing to show. Well, I guess we have one good quarter to show for his first 2 games. But we've always said that this was going to be fairly easy to follow. If Wentz dominated, you keep playing him, and I stand by that. If he starts to struggle, the door has been opened, although I'm a little bit more sympathetic to his cause than I think a lot of people out there, based on all of the other, I guess, surrounding circumstances regarding this offense. A couple of the passes he threw were inexplicable. They're inexcusable. I'll grant you that point. But I also thought over the course of the game, he rallies enough where I can't say he's awful. I can just say he's inconsistent. And I can say part of that inconsistency has to do with coaching. Part of that inconsistency has to do with what he's dealing with at a couple spots in the offensive line and even penalties that he had nothing to do with. That in one case negated a touchdown pass and a pretty close call with Hawkinson that nullified another touchdown. But the door has certainly been opened enough to where you can see your way back to McCarthy. You just got to go with your eyes open because there's no guarantee he's going to come to the rescue immediately and be the star that you want him to be. Just because you want him to be that. I think what we have in front of us is the Wentz mistakes more recent than the J.J. McCarthy mistakes. Now, I get the difference. The difference is a belief that Wentz, if he's making these mistakes at this point in his career, it's further proof that he is what he is. And in the case of McCarthy, you can say the mistakes might lead somewhere because of the talent that you thought you saw in him when you drafted him. That and moved up to get him. That is a fair observation as well. Let's do this. Let's break, wrap up, remind you what you missed on a very busy show and what we have coming up tomorrow on a truncated program. Are we truncated tomorrow?
We are, yeah, because of some Vikings programming and I believe, Wild hockey into Timberwolves basketball. It's a busy night tomorrow.
Very, very busy.
Show wrap presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the bumper-to-bumper show wrap.
Big night tonight on the Fan. Vikings country will follow us this evening. And
Mama G's Maple Grove. Former Viking Dave Dixon, the guest.
Oh, nice. That's a good guess.
No current players can really join this week because they're in the meat grinder.
They're very busy.
They got a big game on
Chargers
Thursday.
week.
It is.
I mean, we lose this game, we're below 500. As it is, we're already in last place.
Right.
I don't even know who the Bears play this week. They've been playing some very beatable. Well, I should give them a little more credit for that. They did beat Washington, but they hosted the Saints, which is kind of a gimme. They did take advantage of it. They're playing good defense. Their offense is still not great.
They've got the Ravens on the road.
And the Ravens still, I don't believe, have their starter back.
Lamar Jackson.
Right? You know he'll be back. First game back will be against us.
Of course.
It's always a bad luck.
Yeah.
What do we have after Vikings country? Do we know?
Dan Patrick.
Dan Patrick show tonight.
Yes, Dan Patrick.
Tomorrow will be Glenn Mason in studio here.
3:30.
Johnny Athletic tracking the Wolves. He will be Dateline Portland, Oregon, as we preview the Wolves 2025-26 season. Review perhaps what happens tonight in the NBA openers as well. I want to thank an outstanding cavalcade of guests today. Very eclectic set of guests. Kevin Seifert joined at 3:15. Luigi tracking the Wild. He's on the road trip still in the greater New York tri-state area. He'll wrap up the road trip, I think, when they take on Jersey tomorrow night on the Fan. And then 4:30, we had a good hour visit with Andy Luger in studio about his op-ed piece that's raising some eyebrows. It appeared in the Star Tribune over the weekend. We did cover a number of other subjects, including his own interest in the concert community. He's been very busy, basically seen 2 concerts and the Vikings the last 4 nights, he said. Elvis Costello last night.
It's a good gig.
Paul McCartney was at Friday night.
It was.
And then Vikings hosting the Eagles on Sunday. So if you missed it, please podcast that as well, and you might well enjoy it, I would think. It was a tough subject. I mean, a lot of it was ended up being pretty serious, but important stuff that we covered indeed with him. And we'll continue to track. We can get to the bottom of all 77 items on the Mean Girl style burn book that apparently Glenn Taylor put together to try to convince the arbitrators to not let the purchase go through to A-Rod and Mark Lowry. We had a number of good suggestions today. I hope if the whole list ever comes out, that there will be some that are a little more legitimate. Because in all seriousness, the ones that are getting the attention via Pablo Torre, because he broke this story, they're embarrassing because they have nothing to do with the story. It sounds like the rantings of a very desperate man is what it sounds like. And it's just, and a good businessman. It comes off like, oh God, they're cringeworthy. What they attempted to do out of, I guess, or he attempted to do apparently out of desperation. And we recall he did not win the vote.
He's no longer the owner.
Yeah, although he's got 4 tickets forever.
I think it's 10 years.
10 years, yeah, that's a little less than forever.
Yeah, it's a good run.
Yeah, it's a very good run. Are you kidding me?
They're nice seats.
Is it the same seats they're in now?
I think it's the same seats, yeah. So I think A-Rod and Lowry still sit across.
Will they go? Yeah, I'm wondering if they will switch where they want to be. Do you think they like the spots they're in?
I think they do. They can see the bench.
Yeah.
They're on that side. I think they like their seats. Next to Charlie Swanson, Lexus Oboizeta.
I think I want to be closer to center court if I were them.
You could be. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But people pay for those tickets.
Yeah, that's true, and that's money out of their pockets.
Yes. I think it's more money if you get closer to center court.
So if they turn around tomorrow and tried to sell the team, they would make, another $2 million? They turn around immediately and make another $2 million?
At least. They basically double their investment.
Maybe more?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the league would go along with that. But they walk in, they start from day one knowing that it's
an incredible deal.
It's a hell of a deal. And maybe Glenn was too nice. I don't know. But I mean, it's not their fault, is it?
No.
I don't
they
think
made the deal. They made the sale. Yeah.
Very, very strange. Is the weather ever going to get better, by the way? It's kind of chilly and rainy.
It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow.
What's the Hawkeye weather supposed to be like? Do you know the forecast for Saturday?
Yeah, I haven't looked yet.
Because a mudder field would probably be good for them, right? Because that's the kind of game they like. They tend to like to play. I know we ran better finally.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I think that plays to their advantage, does it not? Because we can throw.
Yes, their quarterback has 0 passing touchdowns in Big Ten play.
0.
He has 7 rushing touchdowns so far this season. He's a really effective runner.
Yeah. That sounds like Iowa. Thanks for watching today. Thank you indeed for listening, and we look forward to visiting you with you tomorrow beginning at 3.
A lot of things that are easily correctable.